all, what I want to do is give you some information about the constructive response strategy. This is what we came up with that we really found to be beneficial in both of the classrooms that we looked at. And if you notice, it is a color-coded strategy. I'm going to upload some information first. And this is something you might do in your classrooms as well. When you have a whole piece that you're showing your kids, show them what the whole thing looks like. Then break it down into parts. Because then they have an idea of where they're going.
Right.
So first of all, I just want to give you an overview of the whole strategy. I'm going to take some of this off. We have it color-coded, and we used icons for a reason. We're looking at first graders and second graders, but also our pre-K and kindergarten are going to be using the same strategy as well. And that's the one thing that we really liked about this strategy, is that it crosses all grade levels. So every student at Martin Berman School is going to be using this strategy in a modified way. But when we look at step one, it's red. And step one is to restate the question and give the answer. And our icon has a name. He's RQ. And RQ is there for a reason. Restate the question. When we finish, if you look down here at the bottom, RQ wore a red tie. That means something. We've got RQ, he's wearing a little red tie. That's the mnemonic device that's going to help your students remember the strategy when this poster is not in front of them. Because, you know, they don't have this poster in their house when they're doing homework. They don't have this strategy in front of them or the poster during LEAP and iLEAP. So we wanted to think of a way that we can help them remember it when it's not there. So that's their little mnemonic device. RQ wore a red tie. Red, restate the question and give the answer. That's step one. Step two, give a reason why you feel that way. That's our orange section. Step three, green, support your answer and give details. Then step four, restate the question and tie it all together. Once the students have done all of these steps, even if they write one sentence for each section, for each color, they have written a thorough, constructive response. And we will teach this strategy to our students one step at a time. Now, I've just kind of given you an overview of what the whole thing looks like. Please.
Okay. But when you give this strategy, of course you're going to do one step at a time. But when after you finish and you're looking for the children to do the complete constructive response strategy, there may be times when this orange section particularly may be left out. So don't stress and try to force it in every situation, because especially when you get to science, you're going to have a lot of factual things that does not require this giving a reason why. It's just a fact. So you're going to find that generally when your students start using a whole constructive response strategy, that they're pretty much going to initially focus on the red section where they can restate the question and give an answer, and they can give examples and details. That's okay. Don't stress out over that, because on purpose you're going to give those initial situations where they have to use all four. But as you go along from subject area to subject area, some sections, particularly the orange section, may not always be used. I just wanted to point that out so that you won't stress out over that and think that you have to have it.
No, no, you don't have to do every single part of it. And that's something that we're going to lead the children into as well. And remember, this is not something that we're going to finish in 1 or 2 weeks. Mrs. Mason and I started a 4-week journey with this, and we are just now nearing the end. We are just now nearing the point.
But we're going to keep working on it all year.
Exactly. This is not something that after 4 weeks we throw away. We're going to continue using this, because this becomes a strategy that the students can use not just in 1st grade and 2nd grade, but this is a strategy that they can use in high school, in college. If they remember these steps, it will become more sophisticated.
And remember the colors. That's an important point as well. Because at some point, you may even question your children. What does red mean? What does green mean? What does blue mean? And that way, that you're making sure that the children are remembering that strategy. And you may do it in order, and sometimes you may do it out of order. just to see if they remember what each color represents.
So now that we've uploaded that information, let's go back and let's just focus on part one. We're not going to overload the children or teach them everything at once. We're just going to do one thing at a time. A great person said, if you're chasing 2 rabbits, you'll probably catch neither. But if we chase one, we have a better option for success. So we're just going to look at the red section, restate the question, and give the answer. That's RQ. We're going to introduce our little icon, RQ. And I'm going to ask Ms. Mason to step in here because I went in her class with my great grand ideas that, oh, I'm going right in and I'm going to teach this section and this section in one lesson and we're going to just move through this. Didn't quite work that way. Ms. Mason, share what happened.
Well, we thought that we could give the kids a bunch of questions and they could just immediately write them, restating the question, and they needed a little more prompting than we initially thought. So what we did was, after we realized that they were kind of struggling, we just did it orally. Simple questions first. What is your favorite color? I wrote the question on the active board, and then we looked, okay, what are the key words here? We put little check marks above each key word. Favorite, color, and the word is. And then we turned our question into a statement. My favorite color is orange. You know, just simple stuff. What is your favorite animal? My favorite animal is. And we wrote them on the active board, checked them off. And then I just started asking kids in the room questions and just had them state it to me orally using keywords from the question. They had to turn, you know, in language we worked on questions and statements, they knew the difference between the question and the statement. So that really helped because we thought we could just, okay, write a question on the board, they'll be able to put it into sentence form, restate the question, and then they'll be able to go to the orange. My favorite color is orange, my favorite color is orange because, no, it didn't happen. So, like I said, we backtracked, and once we orally asked each kid in the whole class and they could do it, then we were able to start with the writing and write some questions on there and just have them write the sentence in a statement or restate the question, just the red. No
And that's
more.
very important
It is.
because I even found that Ms. Mason said, pulling out those keywords when you're trying to restate. Because I even found with looking at this strategy with a few upper grade students that they were writing not all of them, but a couple of them were writing the entire question
Right.
again and putting the answer at the end.
Right.
Which of course when they read it, they discovered themselves it didn't make any sense. But when they get, that's going to lead them to certain vocabulary. You can start with your lower grade students
Right.
because in upper grade, you know, we're just showing them how to change that interrogative, use that word interrogative sentence into a declarative sentence.
Yeah.
And it's not too soon for you all to introduce them to those terms because those are the kind of terms they're going to be introduced to when they take these standardized tests.
And the value of Mrs. Mason allowing me to do this study in her classroom is that you won't waste 2 days like we did, trying to figure out what to do. So Vi might already have gone into her classroom and do this, and we've worked out some of the kinks. We'll be able to save you a little time and a little.
Yeah, they messed up first.
Learn from our mistakes. So this is what we went in and did. And if you look in your folder, I'm not sure exactly where it is, a couple of pages, looks like this. Constructive response strategy, essential elements. What I've done is I've already gone through and just typed out some of the things that you need to remember to do to make sure that your lesson is successful. So these I've written out for you, and this is certainly not going to be all. These are the things we found in working with Ms. Mason's kids. As you work with your kids, you're going to modify some things a little differently yourself.